𝗂𝗲𝗵𝗂𝘀 and a very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program with me, 𝗕𝗵𝘂𝘁𝗵𝗀. Our top stories this week. Hundreds gather at Hindu temple in Thimphu as His Majesty and Her Majesty grant tikka and offer prayers on Dasai. 2 dead and 1 missing after heavy rains caused widespread flooding. And economists warn Bhutan could face ripple effect of depreciating Indian rupee against US dollars. His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the 𝗪𝗀 celebrated Dasai with the people, granting tikka and offering prayers in Thimphu.
Hundreds of people gathered at the 𝗕𝗵𝘂𝘁 temple to celebrate the day together with their majesties. Dasai is the most important of festivals celebrated by the Bhutanese Hindu community. Families gather on the day to receive tikka and blessings from parents and elders. The festival celebrates the victory of good over evil, commemorating the victory of Dharmaraja Ram, a reincarnation of Lord Vishnu, over the demon Ravana. As told in the Ramayana, Lord Ram, an incarnation of Vishnu, is a Dharmaraja, the righteous king. The king is therefore regarded as the embodiment of Vishnu in the form of Lord Ram, a protective figure whose reign is a golden age for the people. For the Hindu community, the festival holds deep meaning, celebrating righteousness as well as community and family, where the bonds between king and people, parents and children, and between generations are reinforced. 𝗕𝗵𝘂𝘁𝗵𝗂𝗍, 𝗵𝗂𝘂 News.
Her Majesty the 𝗪𝗀 graced the inaugural session of the 3rd annual 𝗕𝗵𝘂𝘁 Symposium at 𝗕𝗵𝘂𝘁, Thimphu.
The 3-day symposium is being held under the theme Empowering Young Minds, Building Futures, Investing in Children and Adolescents' Mental Health and Well-being. The Prime Minister, ministers, senior government officials, and representatives from stakeholder agencies, international organizations, civil society, and education institutions attended the event. The annual 𝗕𝗵𝘂 Symposium, initiated under the leadership of Her Majesty the 𝗪𝗀, serves as a national platform to strengthen collaboration and advance mental health and well-being in Bhutan. This year's symposium focuses on promoting the mental health of children and adolescents and strengthening systems within the health, education, and social sectors. The inaugural session also saw the launch of the National Mental Health Strategy and the BRAVE program, key initiatives to strengthen coordinated national action for mental health and well-being. This is 𝗕𝗵𝘂𝘁 for 𝗵𝗂𝘂 News.
Heavy rainfall across the country caused widespread damage, washing away bridges, blocking roads, and disrupting daily life. The Department of Local Governance and Disaster Management reports that some 18 bridges have been destroyed. Damages have been reported in 𝗬𝗁𝗃, 𝗪𝗪, and several western districts.
In 𝗬𝗁𝗃, a quarantine facility at 𝗪𝗰𝘁 was partially submerged, while a few individuals stranded opposite 𝗬𝗂 housing were rescued. There have also been several reports of property damage.
𝗬𝗁𝗃로 𝗪𝗰𝘁 남에서면 제 보험 대회 대파 quarantine center 나로 대매기 밑에서 대가라 아저라 마 rescuer데서 조베 대가라 고 답대설로 된 소지 세션이라 텔레입지 미 시대시 봐 주기 물로 대고 된 마스바 루미디스에 𝗲𝗵𝘂𝘁 ngachirana ma ngachira trugi mami be te ma jaga mami lo labbe male helicopter de so me khoi ten so chila tigi tinda dere ngachirana 𝗵𝗂𝘂𝗀 ngachirana drugi helicopter de nalma joma so drugi ergi helicopter de namjinde tangne shumeble te 𝗵𝗂𝘂𝗀 nalma helicopter de fusu tele phale michie te ngachira drugi helicopter ge ten suni.
Meanwhile, several 𝗀𝗀s in 𝗀𝗀 experienced similar damage from swollen rivers. In Bongo, 2 bridges have been washed away, leaving several 𝗀𝗀s cut off. The bridge connecting 𝗲𝗂𝘁 and another bridge towards 𝗲𝗂𝗃 has also been washed away. In Dungna, 2 bridges have been washed away. The bridge connecting 𝗲𝗂𝘁 and Dungna 𝗀𝗀s, including another bridge at 𝗂𝗵𝘂, has been washed away. 2 houses have also been buried by landslide. Although no casualties to people have been reported, several cattle have been killed by the landslide. Meanwhile, there are also reports of many roadblocks in the district due to the incessant rainfall. The situation was no better in 𝗬𝗵𝘂. The Bailey Bridge at 𝗤𝗵𝘂, the suspension bridge at 𝗵𝗂𝘂, and the Bailey Bridge at 𝗵𝗂𝘂 were washed away, while the Bailey Bridge at Diana River was damaged. The bridge over 𝗬𝗪 River has been submerged, and 1 house was affected by a landslide. In 𝗬𝗰𝘂𝘀, a man was washed away by the Chuchuna stream in 𝗂𝗂𝘀 around noon today. The body was found later this evening. Likewise, in the district, the incessant rainfall triggered flash floods, washing away 2 wooden bridges in 𝗂𝗀𝘁 under 𝗂𝗪𝘀 and leaving some tourists stranded in homestays. Agricultural land and farm roads in 𝗂𝗵𝘂𝘁 and 𝗊𝗵𝘂𝘁 were also damaged, though the situation has since returned to normal. And in 𝗰𝗿𝘁, the Panza RCC bridge was washed away this morning, leaving 𝗰𝗁𝘁 completely cut off. In Tsirang, the heavy rainfall has damaged around 1 acre cardamom orchard and 3 fishery ponds in 𝗵𝗂𝘁. There are also reports of paddy fields being damaged by strong winds triggered by the rainfall in 𝗵𝗂𝘁. Meanwhile, according to the district disaster management focal person, no major damage reports have been received from the 𝗀𝗀s in Dagana so far. However, the official said there are reports of minor farm road blockages in some parts of the district. In Thimphu, heavy rainfall that began last night intensified around 6 this morning, causing the Dechincholing stream to swell and completely closing the road to traffic, leaving residents unable to commute. While no casualties have been reported, residents voiced frustration and concern over the recurring risk of such disaster whenever heavy rain strikes.
Today as well, around 6 in the morning, the stream started soiling again. We do not know what might happen again. It's uncertain. We would be very grateful if a bridge could be constructed here, instead of installing home pipes every time such a disaster happens.
The Department of Local Governance and Disaster Management is collecting data on the extent of the destruction. The exact figures are expected to be available tomorrow. 𝗲𝗵𝘂𝘁, 𝗵𝗂𝘂 News.
Works to build affordable homes for low-income families under the Green and Resilient Affordable Housing Project are on track. The Infrastructure and Transport Minister assured that the project will complete within the project duration, which ends by June 2028. It will provide secure homes for more than 800 families, easing the country's housing shortage.
The minister said that 32 housing units in Tashiansi have been completed and were allotted to families in August this year. The project will finish constructing another 32 units in 𝗵𝗃𝘂𝘁 by this month and allot them in November. Other sub-projects in 𝗵𝗃𝘂𝘁, Nganglam, and 2 sites in Phensuli are under construction, while those in Thimphu, Tsimalaka, 𝗬𝗵𝘂𝘁, and 𝗵𝗂𝘂𝗀 are at various stages of the design phase. The project initially targeted more than 1,000 units. However, rising construction costs reduced the number to a little more than 800. With $37 million in financing from the Asian Development Bank, the houses will be constructed across 10 locations including Thimphu, 𝗬𝗵𝘂𝘁, 𝗵𝗂𝘂𝘁, and 𝗀𝗀.
미세냠수 𝗕𝗵𝘂𝘀 똥타 집줄레 더우레기 오주 Families with a gross monthly income below 40,000 𝗪𝗏 will be prioritized when it comes to allocating the units. Similarly, it will also give priority to single female-headed households, municipal workers, and persons with disabilities. While this is the general criteria, the agency has its own eligibility criteria.
The construction works began since 2022. The minister added that the Ministry of Infrastructure and Transport is developing a national housing strategy with international experts. The strategy will guide future housing policies covering home ownership, condominium regulations, finance, and long-term sector planning. The strategy will incorporate home ownership schemes with a savings-linked mechanism. This mechanism will enable individuals to save for home ownership, while the government will support these efforts through bonuses, subsidies, and other financial incentives. 𝗲𝗵𝘂𝘁 𝗵𝗂𝘂 News.
Despite continued sensitization and advocacy, people continue to fall victim to online scams. The issue is more rampant in rural areas where the majority of smartphone and social media users lack digital literacy. In a continued effort to mitigate such scams, 𝗕𝗵𝘂𝘁 Engineering College is conducting awareness campaign in the East. Recently, a team from the college visited 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗃 in Mongar, educating the public about cybersecurity.
To make the awareness program more engaging, the team communicated in local dialect. The rural residents were advised on do's and don'ts on social media and how to handle unknown calls. Not too long ago, a family in 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃 fell victim to voice phishing scam, and lost almost 300,000 𝗪𝗏. So far this year, 2 such scam cases were reported to relevant officers in Mongar. We got a call from an unknown man. They were asking us for our CID number and to confirm our mobile number. They said it is to update our bank account. However, knowing it is a scam, we immediately blocked the unknown number. The program today highlighted that in such cases, we must report it to the police.
The word of our fellow villager falling victim to such scam spread quickly. The victim is from our 𝗀𝗀 and is our relative. The family lost 280,000 𝗪𝗏 to scam. Today, after attending such a meeting, we have understood the risks in this digital world. We were told to keep our passwords strong and how to deal with unidentified callers.
Relevant officers are continuously reminding us through various platforms to be mindful of such scams. But unfortunately, people still fall victim.
I think such a workshop should be held regularly because people tend to fall victim easily when they receive scam calls about winning lottery. Now that we attended the campaign, I am sure many will be mindful about it.
The college representatives in teams visited 6 eastern districts, conducting sessions at schools, monastic institutions, and 𝗀𝗀.
Just recently, we also had real cases in our campus as well, and it happened right in front of my eyes. So we had a colleague who got a call, and then it was a foreign number, not our Buddhist number, and then they were pretending to be Buddhist, and then they were like, we want this kind of details, like your ID and such a PIN and all. So first thing we did was record it. So we recorded it, and then we also confronted the scammer right there, then and there. And then I don't actually remember reporting the police, but that's what we should be doing.
People were also sensitized on digital safety practices, including safe mobile use, strong password management, social media safety, 2-factor authentication, and ways to handle and report cyberbullying. The program is a joint initiative of GovTech, BT CERT, 𝗕𝗵𝘂𝘁 Engineering College, with funding from Asia Pacific Network Information Center and Information Society Innovation Fund Asia. For 𝗲𝗏𝘂𝘁 in Mongar, this is 𝗲𝗏𝘂𝘁 for BBS News.
According to the National Education Assessment 2024, children who attended Early Childhood Care and Development or ECCD centers performed significantly better in studies than those who did not. Studies show this highlights the crucial role of ECCDs in preparing children for school and helping them develop essential life skills through play and interaction.
The National Education Assessment 2024 found that children who attended ECCD generally outperformed their peers across almost all measured domains in Dzongkha, English, Science and Maths in both grade 3rd and grade 4th. Officials from Bhutan Early Childhood Education and Development Association said that ECCD provides children with stimulating experiences through play, social interaction and exploration. They said that these will help them develop language, motor and emotional skills. It also helps children adjust better when they enter primary school.
They learn through interaction by touching, seeing and exploring their surroundings. In just a single day, children in ECCD centers absorb far more than those who stay at home. For instance, when a child who has attended ECCD joins pre-primary alongside who hasn't, there is a clear difference in their communication skills, confidence and social interaction.
Despite this, the officials said that some parents still believe that sending children to ECCD centers puts pressure on them to study from a young age. However, they clarified that ECCD is not about formal academic learning, but about learning through play.
Many parents in the country believe that early childhood is only a time for children to play and should be spent at home. However, experts say children learn best in ECCD centers, where play and interactive activities such as drama help them develop important skills and knowledge.
침날레 유엔티 톱미디와디 지종대와 날루 람룩 디지 람룩 레줌베 유니디기 유엔티디 남바나 소베 파 지종대와 날레 톱supse.
According to UNESCO, the years from birth to 8 are a crucial period of brain development. Children who are healthy, safe, and learning during these years are more likely to reach their full potential and contribute meaningfully to society as adults. Officials say the National Education Assessment 2024 findings serve as a reminder that providing children with the right start through ECCD can have long-lasting benefits on their learning, growth, and future success.
SDG 날레 따와진 2030 날레디 지종대와디수 날루 알루가라 추사고 베메볼.
These Sustainable Development Goals aim to ensure that by 2030, all children have access to early childhood care and development programs through government and private centers. In Bhutan, we aim to achieve this target by 2029. However, the government and private efforts alone are not enough. Parents must also understand the importance of ECCD and be willing to enroll their children.
Furthermore, the assessment recommends conducting further studies to better understand the performance of students who attended ECCD. It also calls for a review and strengthening of ECCD programs across the country to enhance their quality and effectiveness. For 𝗲𝗵𝘂𝘁 𝗪𝗃 PBS News.
The Indian rupee continues to fall against US dollar, weakened by a strong dollar and uncertainties over the India-US trade deal. Indian rupee depreciated from 85.8 in January this year to 88.75. Since 𝗲𝗏 is pegged to rupee, it also loses its value against the dollar. Economists warn that this depreciation could increase the country's external debt and raise the cost of essential imports.
Economists pointed out that Bhutan's external debt, much of which is denominated in US dollars, will come under strain if the rupee continues to depreciate. They say the debt stock will rise, increasing repayment obligations. As of June this year, the country's convertible currency debt stood at nearly $1.12 billion.
Economists say 1 𝗪𝗂 depreciation or a fall from 85.8 to 86.8 against the US dollar would increase country's debt by more than 1.12 billion 𝗪𝗂. This means Bhutan would need to spend more 𝗪𝗂 to repay the same amount of dollar debt. Moreover, inflation in Bhutan could rise if the US dollar continues to strengthen against the rupee. More than 80% of Bhutan's trade is with India and most transactions are done in rupees. Economists warn that this could push prices higher and increase the cost of living, particularly in urban areas that rely entirely on store-bought goods. Items such as fuel, machinery, medicines, and certain food products could become more expensive. Since India imports these goods using US dollars, rising costs would also affect Bhutan indirectly. As per RMA's monthly statistical bulletin, the country's foreign exchange reserve stood at more than $816 million as of May this year, which includes convertible currency, INR, and monetary gold. Weaker 𝗪𝗂 could make Bhutan more affordable for dollar-paying tourists and slightly increase remittance earnings. To mitigate the negative effects, the economists suggested building foreign reserves, promoting import substitution, and encouraging domestic production. Experts say the only way to make the economy resilient is by achieving self-sufficiency. This is 𝗕𝗵𝘂𝘁 for BBS News.
From next year, doctors and chief medical officers will focus solely on patient care. Administrative and management duties will no longer fall under their responsibilities. The health minister said this change is part of the ongoing health transformation approved by the cabinet in August. The move follows the healthcare motion passed last year to relieve doctors of administrative duties and decentralize the National Medical Services roles.
According to a health survey conducted in 2023, 19% of healthcare providers were dissatisfied with the balance between clinical and administrative work. Doctors were the most dissatisfied group. Currently, chief medical officers are required to handle administrative duties, including overseeing health facilities in their respective districts, while also treating patients.
While the centralization of healthcare centers in 20 districts under NMS was aimed at improving efficiency, it also introduced operational challenges for oversight and coordination. Additionally, placing public health centers under CMO supervision shifted their focus from the core mandate of preventive and promotive health to predominantly curative services, resulting in significant reduction in preventive care delivery.
The minister said that these additional burdens affected both service delivery efficiency and public health outcomes. So, to ease their workload, the Health Ministry is planning to recruit new district health officers to carry out the administrative and management of health centers. However, the ministry is waiting for the Royal Civil Service Commission's approval.
Public health centers, the then BHUs, will be decentralized to their respective Dzongkhag administration. The Dzongkhag health officer will be responsible for overall administration and management of Dzongkhag health sector, supported by chief medical officer and public health officer. The CMO will focus primarily on clinical service delivery, overseeing all hospitals, while public health officer will oversee public health programs, regulatory and policy functions, and management of all public health centers.
The National Medical Services, which currently oversees all healthcare centers, will only focus on the 2 regional referral hospitals, 10 cluster hospitals, and the Royal Center for Infectious Diseases. However, human resources and medical equipment management of all health centers will still function under the National Medical Services. Other reforms under the health transformation include upgrading the Traditional Medicine Division to the National Center for Traditional Medicines and reinstating operational autonomy to the National Referral Hospital. The ministry aims to complete the transformation by this year. 𝗕𝗵𝘂𝘁, BBS News.
That's all we have for you this week. Join us again next week for yet another edition of Bhutan This Week. Until then, from me and my team here, it's goodbye.